This is my Coleman 242c gasoline lantern. This is going to be from the 1940s, although I'm not sure which year specifically it's from, because the bottom just says 612. It does not say exactly what year it's from, but 242Cs are from the 40s. This one is in pretty good shape. The vent is nice looking. A few imperfections, but it's really nothing to worry about. The only thing I've had to replace on this lantern is the generator. I just put a new one on a couple days ago, and that was because the old one had a bent cleaning rod, and it was not cleaning it properly. It would get clogged up constantly. Since this is kind of a new thing for my channel, I am going to go over how these work and what some of the parts are called. Obviously, if you're a collector like I am, you'll know how these work, but if you're new to this, like I'm sure some people will be, because I haven't really made videos of these on my channel before, then it'll be helpful for me to explain how these work and what some of the parts are called. So these run on gasoline, and the best gasoline to use in these is Coleman white gas, because it's very pure and it doesn't have any of the additives in it that normal automotive gasoline has. This right here is the fill cap. I'm going to take that off real quick and let some of the pressure out. It was pressurized. It is very common for the rubber seals on these caps to go bad, but this one is just fine. This one has gasoline in it already. And then over here we have the pump. You do have to pump these up to pressurize the gas tank so the fuel will go up. And what you do is you basically open this, turn it counterclockwise, put your thumb over this hole, and pump it. You'll obviously have to hold the lantern once it starts building pressure, because it's going to start being harder to push. But that is how you pressurize these. Right here we have the fuel valve. You open this a little bit to light it, and then once the mantle, which is that white sock thing right there, starts glowing properly, you open the valve the rest of the way. And the reason for that is the fuel that comes up through that thin tube right there, which is called the generator, has to vaporize properly. And for that to happen, it needs to heat up a little bit. So these will flare up a little bit at first until that generator heats up, and then you can open the fuel valve all the way. Right here we have the lever for the cleaning rod. Basically a thin needle that sticks up through the top hole of that generator tube. It is there to clean it out if it gets clogged up. And like I said, the old one had a bent cleaning rod, so it was not cleaning itself out and it would get clogged up all the time. But this one works just fine. And here is the fuel that I use, made for Coleman stoves and lanterns. I typically use Coleman number 21 mantles or American number 785 mantles. I've had the best of luck with these two. And both of these can be found on Amazon and sometimes even in your local hardware store. You may notice that these mantles are quite big. When you put them on the lantern, you do have to burn them off first, and they will shrink, and then you can light the lantern. And it's very easy to find the generator for these. It uses the same generator as the 200A lanterns do. Now, to replace the generator on one of these 242Cs, you do have to unscrew that nut right there and pull this entire assembly up, because it does stick up quite far into that burner assembly. Kind of hard to see, but yeah, right there, it sticks up pretty far into that burner assembly, and you have to lift the whole assembly up. to change it. These two tubes on the side are air tubes. Basically that's how this burner gets its air, and it mixes the fuel and the air up there, and you get a flame, and that flame causes this mantle, which at this point is just ash, to glow, and it puts out light. I got the vent off the top so we can take a look at the air tube now. Take the globe off. So like I said, that thin tube is a generator. The fuel comes up through that and it goes into this air mixer assembly, which has two air tubes, and that's where the fuel and air are mixed, and it puts out the flame right there where the mantle is on the burner assembly. As I said, I think the best way to replace the generator on these is to loosen this nut and pull the whole air mixer assembly and burner assembly up, because this generator sticks up pretty far into the air mixer assembly. These mantles will have a certain element in them to help them glow brighter. The new ones like this have yttrium in them, which is non-radioactive. The old ones had thorium in them, which is radioactive, and most mantles don't have that anymore. There are still some that you can buy that have thorium in them. Right here we have the hole to put the match up into to light it, or the lighter, whatever you want to use. Let's take a look at this. There are the instructions to light it. To light, open valve, quarter turn, and then after the mantle burns bright, like I said, you can open the valve all the way. And here's the bottom of it, where the date code would usually be. As you can see, this one just says 612. The 242c is one of my favorites. Some of them have a nickel tank on them. This one is painted, and personally I prefer the painted model. Alright, I'm going to start pumping it up, and I will light it. And another thing that can go bad on these is the cup inside of the pump. It's basically a leather cup, and one way you can rejuvenate those is by oiling them, or by stretching them out with your hands and then oiling them. Sometimes though you do have to replace it. I've had to do that in a couple lanterns, but most of them I've been able to rejuvenate them without a problem. I'll pump it up a little bit more. I will turn the cleaning lever, and you want to have this in the down position when you light it. I'll get a match, and I'll light this up. There we go. Like I said, it is going to flare up a little bit at first before the generator warms up. And you got to be very careful lighting these inside, because if they have a leak anywhere, that could be very dangerous. Now the mantle is glowing nice and bright. I'm going to open the valve the rest of the way. And at this point, if it doesn't have enough pressure, you can pump it up some more and it'll get even brighter, but I think we're fine. It seems nice and bright. These lanterns are great for camping. That's the primary use of these, and of course they're nice for power outages, especially during the winter because they put off quite a bit of heat. And for a fuel burning lantern, they burn quite clean. Some of them don't burn as clean as others, but this one is pretty good. And of course they do get extremely hot, so you do have to be careful with it when you're using it, so you don't put anything near it that's flammable. But they're very bright, and they will run for a very long time on the tank gas. I'm going to turn the lights off. We'll see how much light it's putting out. Like I said, these are quite bright. They light up a very wide area. Now there are also some models of these pressure gas lanterns that run on kerosene, and those will have a metal cup at the bottom of the generator that you put alcohol in to preheat them, because with the kerosene ones you have to preheat the generator. You can also run the kerosene ones on gasoline, but you do still have to preheat the generator just because that's the way those are. The nice thing about these Colemans is that you can still get parts for them, even though this is from the 40s. It's pretty amazing that you can go on Amazon and still get parts. I'm going to go ahead and turn it off. Valve is shut. It will take a little while to completely shut off. Always want to make sure you have a working carbon monoxide detector in your house if you're going to run these inside. It will take a little while to dissipate. One thing to note is you never want to open the fuel cap when it's lit, because that will definitely ignite the vapors from the gas tank. Here's one of the spots that they can leak, right here, where the cleaning lever is. Gotta make sure that's tight and it's not leaking. And they can also leak at the valve assembly, so you gotta make sure that's not leaking as well. I hope you enjoyed this video. These are a lot of fun to work on and collect. And if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them. Thanks for watching.